thank you everyone for coming here and being here with us, and for being able to come today for the Washington Live for the Free Congo Basanji tour. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to start off today with the Freedom Futures Collective. They have the Black Futures on Earth, which is an experiment dropping on YouTube soon. It's the sequel album to Build Black Futures. Visuals out now on YouTube. Full album will be on all streaming platforms on Freedom Futures Collective. And keep your eyes open for artists like Astro Val. Thank you so much. Introducing the Freedom Futures Collective. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Trilogy. I am one of the founding members of the Freedom Futures Collective, and we have been working with the Friends of the Congo to create a cipher called Black Futures on Earth, where we go over what is going on with the cobalt mining crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So I have spent time producing tracks, and Astro Val, is one of the few artists that have worked with us to get this project ready for you. And tonight, for the first time, you all get to see this performance live. Are you ready? All right. So, the way that this song goes off, I'm going to teach you guys a chorus real quick. And it starts off by spelling out the word cobalt. C-O-B-A-L-T. They take it from the Congo to the Congolese. They take it from the Congo through the Congolese. These big companies don't want you to see what's really going on in the DRC. So, C-O-B-A-L-T. All right, that's all I want you guys to do. All right, so I'm going to say C-O. I'm going to point the mic out, and I want you all to say B-A-L-T. Okay? All right. C-O. B-A-L-T. All right, one more time. C-O. B-A-L-T. Got you, all right? So I'm going to go ahead, and we're going to do this acapella because we don't have to try this right now. But anyways, let's go. 1, 2, 3, and C-O. B-A-L-T. They take it from the Congo through the Congolese. These big companies don't want you to see what's really going on in the DRC, but you'll never keep me down. Yeah, mess me around. You'll never keep me down. Mess me around. It's big free Congo with a G. The problem symmetry, keep the imagery. I know you've seen that TikTok repost and wondering what to do as the everyday people. But first off, we gotta change the verbiage, knowing that most of us probably say the heritage. And really, it's not even that centric kids from cell phones to laptops, to tripods and iPods and future. Try to get the mask off people like who told Leopold to genocide the people? Belgium and rubber ain't needed. Click the minimalist, the minimal rich. Click. Calling, destroy the land, take the freedom and the deep system. Destroy PV. They take the land, destroy the energy, resources, and ecosystem, this and get to dipping. USA, you stood in a position. I don't think you got it, but you get it. C-O. They take it from the Congo through the Congolese. These big companies don't want you to see what's really going on in the DRC, but you'll never keep me down. Yeah, mess me around. You'll never keep me down. Astro, let's go.
Distraction, what's happening? They keep the people lacking. If you could be a threat, take the people in. They have a retraction for people who want to fight for change, but they'll tell them where they come from. Now they got the action. They got to acknowledge that the Western world is lacking. They want to free our people, but these electronics is like a tonic from Leopold himself. World shifting like tectonics sliding off the shelves. Pray to let the earth call it Zaire. Might tear down all these systems. I'm right here. You to the world. We grab the mics here. Spite and fear. Don't know them. We know unity for you and me. Unless he's suppressing the people trying to hide, but I might stare. I care. You should too. Because when it's me and you, just chilling and watching TV, our family in the DRC is right there.
C-O-E-L-T. They take it from the Congo through the Congolese. These big companies don't want you to see what's really going on in the DRC, but you'll never keep me down. Yeah, mess me around. You'll never keep me down. Let's get it. Rechargeable batteries, tragedy, catastrophe. What's happening? The suffering, the Congolese bleeding. History repeating itself. Cause Congo lives are being placed upon the show. I'm sorry to say that mama's been crying. Cause 4-year-olds are in the mines working and they dying. Big companies facing big lawsuits, but what's new? The youth are making music for the youth. C-O-E-L-T. They take it from the Congo through the Congolese. These big companies don't want you to see what's really going on in the DRC, but you'll never keep me down. Yeah, mess me around. You'll never keep me down. Yeah, mess me around and word, and word, and word, and word, and word, and vibe. Straight to G, FFC, Astro Vibe. We did this, we killed it, and everybody loves Jody. TRVNOTYFFC, we in the building. Ha!
Thank you so much, y'all. Next, we'll be introducing the director of the movie, Ndaliko Kaondolo. He was born in Goma, DRC, and is a filmmaker, educator, and an ancestral ecologist. His multi-genre artistic works are acclaimed for their decolonial African futuristic style, which engages historical content to address contemporary socio-political and cultural issues. In 2000, he co-founded Yole Africa, and in 2005, he founded the Ishango Encounter, formerly known as Salam Kivu International Film Festival. Ndaliko Kaondolo teaches and consults regularly for international organizations addressing social, ecological, and political inequity among marginalized groups through culture and art. Welcome.
Hello. Hello. C-O-G-A-L-T. Yeah, man, you got it. That was so beautiful. What a beautiful introduction. And seeing the youth, us, we're being here in a diaspora, connecting to the land, motherland, back home. Thank you, guys. That's the strength we need to keep growing. So I normally, big thanks, first of all, for everybody showing up today. Katasumbika is a very dear story to my heart. And I think at the end, all of you will be able to understand why that's so. I hope it's going to be part of also some close stories that will be attached to your heart as well. I have the habit of not saying anything before my film or part of the film, so please, enough of the talking, let the film do the rest and we can talk after. Thank you.
L'Union minière est depuis de nombreuses années un des plus importants producteurs de cobalt du monde. Ce métal se rencontre dans certains minerais de cuivre du Katanga. Le traitement des minerais cobaltifères est opéré dans les fours électriques. Parmi les organismes qui figurent à l'initiative personnelle du roi Léopold II, ont des revues d'équiper le pays, figure l'Union minière du Haut-Katanga, qui déroule l'exploitation de deux zones bien déterminées, contenant l'une les gisements de cuivre, l'autre les gîtes d'étain venus à cette époque. La première tâche consistait à relier la région au marché et aux sources d'approvisionnement par un chemin de fer. La tête de voie la plus proche était à Bobigny, en Rhodésie, à 500 km de la mine de l'étoile du Congo, qui devait être la première mise en exploitation. Le rail arriva à Elisabethville en 1910. La production de 1000 tonnes la première année passa à 2500 tonnes en 1912, 7500 tonnes en 1913, 6700 tonnes en 1914. Elle s'éleva rapidement pendant les années suivantes. Un premier maximum de 139 000 tonnes atteint en 1930, puis suivi d'une forte réflexion due à l'application d'accords internationaux. Et la production s'est poussée vers la suite pour atteindre 150 600 tonnes en 1937. À l'heure qu'il est, la production métallurgique de cuivre de l'Union minière est concentrée dans deux centres principaux. Le bout de la Chine et la Dovie. Avec l'importante économie grandissante du Katanga, sont venus s'ajouter au rail unique de 1910 d'autres liaisons commerciales qui furent dans l'ordre chronologique. La première voie nationale par Bukama, Tanganyika, Bukama, le fleuve, le Kabalo, le chemin de fer des Grands Lacs jusqu'à Albertville, le lac Tanganyika, le chemin de fer du Tanganyika jusqu'à Dar es Salaam, la nouvelle voie nationale inaugurée par le roi Albert en 1923. Bukama, la porte la rade, le fleuve jusqu'à l'Urgence, le rail à nouveau jusqu'à la tête. Enfin, la voie de l'Occident, seule voie du général, ne comportant pas de transportement sur le continent africain. La voie aérienne par le Sahara dans les villes, c'est plus familier aux autres pour faire la liaison entre le responsable et la mère famille. Suivant la nature de la charge et notamment suivant sa teneur en soufre, les produits du coup se composent de masques, produits intermédiaires de fabrication, à teneur en cuivre de 70 à 75%, ou de lait pour 9% de cuivre pur. nombreux aspects de cette région prospère, édifiée à force de volonté et de persévérance, et qui constitue un témoin probant des qualités colonisatrices au sens le plus élevé du mot du peuple vert.
Donc, ça qualité, ça beauté, le monde a publié. Le voiture, on a dit comme on a dit, ça va, le voiture, ça va, le voiture, na document yoyote ikakuwa tu document ipima na chumvi hawakwata napenda waone vitu vingine ama tu kwa hizi maezitare tu hawakuwa nazipenda kabisa, wanaonyesha kile ni uchawi, vitu ya mbaya alo wakatuusie peke tulizani kilike moto tuliungue kasia pale tosha kwa nimete sasa mie pale wakaniambia mwa ile niweza kaniambia nisote mwingine sasa kwa sababu nataka ndani ndio mwa tu tena toka nikilia huruma kanizongesha kanisia ndio sasa makamani sikapewa wale watu wenyewe wakishamu kia sasa hapo babeba kujua kile sasa estimation yenyewe wanawapeleka ndani ndio walikuwa wameingia habari basi yote ni karimu. Kama ikifika kemke mbele danzo na mwisho ndio kule na wamefunza ili kazi. Malete tu na kwanza mimi lazima msisi ndio nyuma. Kwanza ni amazini kabisa jikoni. Nione kama mwenyewe atapata nini. Lakini ndio ndio nimekia ndani. Ndio nikapima mungu ya sherehe. Ndio akaniambia walide kutaka alikuwa ni ndio alikuwa ni ndio akaniambia nyumbani na yeye nikaambia kalipendani kitu nikakia toka pale kwa masukume ya jeudi ndio nikaenda sana kutoka kwa hospitali makasho na kwenyewe walisimama walienda kwa mama yetu nguo ya laki vert nikizunguka na nikafanya registrement la banque yenyewe ilikuwa na sana sasa alitumia ila banque na wote na ninaomba mzigo na brand ndio kuna video yenyewe hapo na mzee na alors kwa ile ndio yenyewe anataka mwingine kama
and that's overall Congolese film. That was on a discussion on the involvement of the UN peacekeeper in Congo. Soon we'll have a discussion Q&A section with Malimu Petna and Samuel, who is also part of the Basanji collection and also as well as the founder of GOVA. So we'll just be setting up, and right after we'll have a Q&A session. Thank you. To the stage, we welcome Malimu Petna and Samuel. For this section, we'll be opening up the floor for any questions on the film or anything related to the issues that you guys have. The film has a strong theme of Congolese members protesting against the UN's involvement within Africa, specifically within Congo, and as someone who's living in America and as an African person living in America growing up, I saw a lot of advocacy that wasn't, that didn't have the right intentions behind it. So one of my questions is, how can non-African people or African people outside of the continent engage in advocacy in the correct way that could have an actual impact on what's going on?
Good evening once again. I have a feeling that after referring the Katasumbika, maybe we should let's do a simple exercise. This is what we do home, where we welcome in a space. I know this is already sacred space, so we're all good. All we're going to do is just a libation as we do this back home. And we're going to do some more together, just to reflect. After we have witnessed sort of a testimony of where a lot of physical presence was not. It's always good to be able to I say count. You go one, and you say, you try that? The rhythm is very important. So let's try and keep the rhythm. I Kau. That was a little bit off. Let's do it again. Kau. Getting there. Kau. Getting there. Kau. Kau. Go. Right. So in Congo, we work with the decanter. The decanter is 360 degrees. And we hold the air for 360 degrees. Can you try that? So, this is how I'm going to go. Go. Thank you for allowing us to go through the Baba Alejandro has been a mentor from Trump. Been following the career since I was little, and being here in this space for the first time was a blessing. And every single time I come back to, I feel that I'm recharging again. So gratitude to the way that Baba Alejandro showed us. And after saying that, I think from your question, I would love just to share how Katasumbika came up. It was an experience with working with the mamas at Yole Collegia. Yole Collegia is a space that we run, and that space is centered around the agro-liberation approach. This particular day we went there. There was a situation where the Yole Collegia is in the middle of now the biggest displaced people who are living in the refugee camp in Goma. And most of these people, I think you know why they're there. Because, all their villages are being raided. Cobalt and coltan and copper and dairy. I can go on the team and so people are running, trying to find the refugees around I want to think this particular day, when we were there, what happened was the rebel group, we are closing in the city. So right now, as I'm speaking, they are at like 16 kilometers from the city. That's where the rebel, we are closing. And they tend to put all their military at first, just behind and they are left problems that we are here. Can that. shall we go? Where did I go? So at that moment that I realized how privileged I was, because it was easy for me to say, let's run. Because I knew that our household, I could cross the border and go wherever I want to go. They were there. So I had to say that I knew that my family would tell us present to say when we were being bombed and being in the shoulder. But I have to say, that I couldn't be when more than 100 months up there. I couldn't go. The experience was even much profound because we have seen, and outside it was bombing. These are synchronistic that happened there, where we create a different universe, where we are. It made me start thinking about the possibilities around the accessibility. And one of the mama came and said, do you know about the culture of Muslims? It was like, yeah, my great grandma used to talk about the culture of Muslims. It was like, yeah. You understand that your ancestors did not have a tree. What they were doing, if you are finding the community, they will take you back to the court for 21 days. And the idea was not for you to go be eaten by animals and all these things. No. Because it was different from my great grandmother told me before. It was to give you the possibility of recalibrating and then see if you are good enough to be returned to live in the community and respect all the basic understanding that I refer to as the community values. And why and how was that happening? Was that when you're in forest, the sound that you are hearing is not necessarily that what you are seeing. And people will come from there saying that I was thirsty and I was going looking for the river. I could hear the river, but I would walk miles and miles and I could not ever find the river. You see, I could hear lions around me. And I was so scared, but I never saw a lion. The capacity of the sound recalibrating the mind of a person and be able to return to human community was so interesting, and I started thinking around it by also approaching the multi-point of views of what we are seeing. That it was much more than what will be a human-centered approach. So that's how the whole story around the Katasumbika started. And coming back to your question, it's so interesting because a few weeks after that, I came to the US, right? And there was a beautiful event where I had to attend, and it was called Black Joy Parade in Los Angeles. No, it was in Bay Area. And it was so beautiful for me to be in this space where it was so amazingly beautiful to see all these black folks having a great moment, beautiful with their families, and everybody was it was beautiful to see that. But we had a big sign, which I don't really like that much, but it is one of the strategic friends of the Congo. A big sign with people coming from the earth, trying, and it is about, talking about the mineral bloods in Congo. And during the entire day, I think it was only 10 people who stopped and talked to us in that particular place. Then I started thinking that what brought me here, it was because I was black. That's why I was in a Black Joy Parade. right? And if we are talking about community values that my great grandma was talking about, how come I'm in a black space with this big problem happening to black people somewhere there in a continent, and nobody cares? It was being asked for me. It was, what is my community? Is it because I'm black or because we share values that all of us we can stand for?
Was a great answer, great answer. Are there any questions in the crowd?
Hello, my name is Grace. Thank you so much for your words and for Senko for having this event. My question is, I really admired the way you were creative with the layering of the images throughout the film. I was really curious about your creative process as far as like if you had a vision for that before, then you found the pieces to put it together, if that came to you after you had collected all the content. I thought it really beautiful.
Thank you for your beautiful question. My process of creating, especially in today's world, it's so interesting where the intersection between the materiality and the storytelling itself. It's very crucial, right? And the question of what does the image render invisible? It is at the core of my research when it comes to make films, and especially because I also work with a lot of colonial archives, and those archives they already carry violence in them, and how do we treat them without violating the viewers? Again, it is to give them a different meaning and. Mostly just not to treat them as proof, but to treat them as a possibility that we can play around with, right? And with that, the question of materiality was very important because like the presence of Cobalt herself as a personage in the film was very central to that work. And I don't know if you did notice, it is just looking at the stone itself, one stone. There is more than 7 minerals within that stone. So you have cobalt, you have copper, you have tantal, you have gold, you have uranium. You have like 7 of them there in that just one stone, and you can see even the colors changing. And with that, it is so interesting just to see, like, yeah, it's just a stone, but it is a genealogy of living being within that stone. So, and we, with being trying to enter in dialogue with those beings there. I choose to go with a possibility of going deeper to the texture. So playing with the texture where closing ring and then open up. It is part of the process, and the metaphorical level of just this storytelling when we enter the animal shot. And animal shot, it is a practice of taking meditating through the point of view of multiple living beings. And that can be, like the positioning of the camera won't only cater for the human eye. It cater also for the snake eye, or for the phone eye, or for even the energy eye, if you want to talk about that way. Yes, thank you. was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about what the lady was talking about with your past after the demo, because that was the question of the story. Mama Chukwalile, she's one of the group called Rosalendo. Rosalendo, the word in English is to be popular in our recognition. I use more we refer to it as indigenous. They add their spiritual movement and the space, again, the space that the UN occupies there, according to the offerings they've done pre-colonial time, and growing up, that place, I myself, that place where I was in, when their movement was getting momentum, we got the vision that that space has to be free among the youth here that we need to achieve before peace can return to so they start this UN is not helping, the UN should go. Yeah. And it was a very big movement because they will get like a huge number of people, like thousands of people who will march throughout the city of Goma and go to mainly all the strategic places and the offering rituals. And they were always peaceful whenever they were doing it. But the time they start touching the UN, that's what happened. All of them, some of them are running up to now. The rest, they quit. Over 100 people there. Like a month before that, I was passing up because I was working on another film project. And then some of them were like, oh, Petna is there. Call him to come and film it. And that's how I ended up filming it. And then when I heard it was shot, I had to be ready that I have to do something. After the experience with Mark, real. That's what we have to talk about. So Mama Chukwalile, she's on a high. She's hiding up to we find her. He's in a maximum prison. The guy that was talking about. Yes. Many people here ask me about where is Lumumba now in Congo, and I always get mad about that. I'm like, why are you looking for Lumumba when Lumumba did his work? And we have millions and tens of Lumumba in the Congo right now. And we are doing amazing work. But literally what you're saying there, this happened last year. People who are studying and speaking, whenever you speak, you end up just like Lumumba. 100 people were killed, and and nobody talk about they were killed by the personal guard of the president. And as they say themselves, you had mercenaries from somewhere in Europe who came and they had drones to attack these harmless people. And the question is, why? Why ancestral knowledge is dangerous than the group of the rebels who are 15 kilometers out of Goma, but they're not sending those kind of forces to stop them? You wanted to say something?
Good evening, everyone. I think what's happening with Goma is very important, not only for Goma or even for the entire country. I can say that we have reached a very important point. From the grassroots, the coaches needs to defend the Congo, to defend themselves, to defend Africa, to defend Pan-Africanism. It's very, very crucial to us. Of course, there was a land they started there in Goma, but the movement was, I can say it's being spread at national level. In Kisangani, in Guinea, so they start focusing against the UN because everyone is clear that the UN really is useless. They are there for more than 3 years and they spent billions of US dollars. For what? Exactly. So that consciousness is very, very important, and maybe that's one I'm going to talk a little bit about the passenger coalition. But it's, I think we have to be optimistic because the movement is coming from the grassroots. That's the most important thing, and we are optimistic that one day that country will be liberated. And you saw the film, and nobody is expecting local people to say the UN or those big multinationals and big democracies, they are there for their own benefit. That's what is very well known. But the most important thing is the consciousness from the grassroots, to take, to defend themselves, to defend the country, and we are at that level. We are trying our best, to work with the grassroots. Tell them that you can't wait for the right response from the US or from Belgium or France or England or Germany. So we have to work at the local level to find solutions to our problem. It's a very important point.
Well, I am not, maybe Samuel can respond to that question. I'm not really very well positioned to talk about single individual and against what we community. All this putting one person as a figure.
Petna, I agree with you. Lumumba was they killed Mzee Kabila, the same. They killed him. Who is the next? We don't know. Maybe it's Petna or that. We don't know. But we are working at the community level to promote the community leadership, which will be very, very difficult to start. Okay. Um, Still interesting thing what is happening of the one experience in Goma. And let me share with you what happened in inside the territory I'm coming from. There is a big corporation from here who came for timber. So they forced people out of their land, take the forest and cut trees to be exposed. But from the villages, from the local communities, they organized themselves. They entered the forest and say, from now you have to do otherwise you are going to do bad things on you. So they were successful. That's from the community. If you are individual, they can attack you and kill you. So I do agree with you, and let us work. Let us work at the community level, and the Messenger coalition um, is working, at that level. So maybe the one I'm going to speak a little bit what is the Messenger and is doing at the community level.
My name is Trey, and also my question goes back to what you're saying about the history and how they're come to a certain place, region where they find materials and what they want and what do you think what do you Congo's history and how it's reuphold and corrupted, and now we see repetition of history in Congo. Now it's with communities trying to build this multiple type of and we see a lot of the same things happening as far as communities that have homes and resources that can and will have a bigger impact on the future of the world. My question overall is how can we as youth continue to push forward the message to the big screen so that more and more people can be aware of what's going on, because on the big stage you see Israel and Palestine, and you don't see a lot of people thinking about what's going on.
Well, I think what I like about the Mama Chikwadile and the whole movement, where they were talking about something specific that hasn't happened yet to my knowledge. So far we've been acting and reacting to the actual system of politics. We're not questioning it or reacting in a way that we can just overcome it, just put it aside. And they were bringing something like that. They were talking about spiritual revolution, and I love that approach. And I think spiritual revolution is when we're talking about from one-on-one, to create a community. And I think as youth people, we can develop this already like one-on-one way of understanding. And then when we become unity, the system will build directly. So whenever we all start as a group, there is always something that goes wrong. Because that needs of values is not most of the time at the center. It's always reacting to a situation. We've seen it in the US after just the way it was killed. The consciousness was like, yes, let's go. And when did it end? It wasn't based on anything in value. It was just like, okay, we're not happy with this. Then we're not. And then so for you talking about youth in the US, I think you're already on the top. You're doing the right thing. You're writing songs about it. Now the next step is to start creating relationships with the people in Congo and remembering that the face of all black people in the world, it's there. It's being played in Congo. It's being played in Congo, and that's not something that we should not want to prove it again or no. Because look at all those people that were cited as the father of independence, all those people. At the beginning, all of them, they were talking about the centrality of Congo as the beginning of the change of the continent of Africa. And if the continent of Africa changes, then we can start thinking about the entire diasporic community to follow and the whole thing to be there. Whether we'll be talking about the true liberation of the planet, right? So that starts with where one-on-one, we start this relationship whereby do you even know that person who's being displaced in the Congo? Do you know their name? Are you connected to those people? Like that becomes something different. That is not just like, oh, I heard about Congo people are running. But if you say, hey, my friend Kubito or James in Congo is going through this, man, that changes everything. Because you could talk to your neighbor and your neighbor will know that a friend of so and so is in trouble somewhere there. And that's how we can deal with it. And then from there on, we start creating, I talk about rescaling back. Capitalism wants us to be big. And then you know the problem with being big. You had a lot of territory to cover and you don't have the means to do it. Then you need a lever to cover it. And that's where you start influencing us. But when you rescale back, you create community and then it's sort of a reciprocity you create it, and that becomes something that is connected to a collective, and all those collectives goes up to create something strong that has a strong effect for the person.
2 days ago, I was in New York City and attended a meeting or workshop from youth about the green transition. And everyone was saying, oh, we are relying on the bubbles of the kind of global strategic materials for a green transition, you know, let's say, regarding the consequences of the climate change, the climate crisis. So everyone is relying on it. And I asked one question. What's the strategic minerals mean for you when thousands of women are being raped every day? What's the strategic minerals you need when innocent people are being killed? And entrance of a village are pushed out of their natural land. And they become like internal refugees in the village because of strategic minerals. What do you know about what is happening around strategic minerals? So, I think the international, I'm sorry to say that, my point of view. I'm so sorry to say that the international community has failed. All those big, in bracket, those big democracies, they have failed. Of course, I can't blame everyone there. We have also a local responsibility in terms of local governance. So there is a failure at that level. Our hope now is community, organizing the community, to defend themselves, to be the master of their lives. Yeah, that's the solution because nobody respects them. Let me give you an example. That's President. Well, this is not like in 2022, they organized the CAP meeting in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh. But before that, they organized a meeting in Yangambi forest to protect the Yangambi forest and around. Who attended? The people coming from outside, from different countries, scientists, and so on, and Congolese government officials. and nobody from the local community where there is the forest. Nobody. Even the journalists from the local radio, they say, no, it's not for you. He didn't get accreditation to attend. So how can you pretend to to protect the forest, to protect the biodiversity, to protect the rivers without people living and the trees and along the river? It's not so. I think it's high time really to organize the community to defend themselves, to defend their own interests, because nobody's going to do that activities. Look, regarding the environmental protections, I don't know better protectors than local communities. I don't know. I don't know better protectors than indigenous people. Because they are there for centuries. They have been protecting the forest, the biodiversity, and so on. So why can't we trust them? Why? Just because in our mind we say they know nothing, they don't have capacity, they don't have knowledge. It's not true. It's not true. So the passenger, and then we say, no, it can't be like that. Let us create what we call today passenger coalition. And once again, the word passenger is not in English. It's not an English word. It's not a French word. It's not a Spanish word. It's a Topoke word, which is only one language spoken in the Congo, which means the local code to protect the environment, not set up by scientists or universities and so on. No, decided by local people. And then say, okay, we're going to sort out that center because we need to rely on local people. We need to learn from them. Up to knowledge, we need to listen to them, to give them space, to give them capacity, to trust them because they are able to make difference. And yeah, you saw in the film, from the Katanga province, even in Goma, what is happening. So our response is welcome or is being from the community, organizing the community, because the true change must come from the community and not from the government or big international NGOs. Nobody respects the communities. Regarding the biodiversity protection, we have the Congo Basin. We are the second land of the world after Amazonia, and the Congo itself has 62% of the forest of the Congo Basin, and Congo has 47% of the total forest in Africa. So, how can we rely on those who are in protecting the forest of centuries? Indeed, when you look at the funds allocated to biodiversity projects or forest projects, just on 1% reaches the local community, which is not correct. Most of the funds are somewhere apart from the community. So Passenger Coalition, and I would like to see this opportunity to thank the Congo, supporting Passenger Coalition, supporting Jure Africa, to really work at the communities, you know, um, relying on the community to try to find solutions to hear all these problems, fight them, and to fit that the solution. Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to say that, so think about it this way. We're talking about the Congo as a space and the reserve to all this amazing biodiversity that you can find in the forest there. But if you look at the forest as a living being, and mostly as a reservoir of knowledge, as being the Mother Earth, she takes us all back. Whatever happened to our body when we transition goes back to Mother Earth. All the trees, all the living that are here surrounding us, they go back to Mother Earth. So look at her as the amazing archive. And then think about it, that the most the one which is still, how should I refer to it? It is a view, you know, that untouched, the space that the world still has. It is the Congo, red voice. The Amazon, as you know, has been so much violated that doesn't hold anymore like what Congo feels hold. So not only the federal government, not the federal government, rely on the land of Congo. And then imagine that full of knowledge, not only in terms of resources, a place for extract, no, a place where you come and recharge. Think about it. That's it. When you come, you recharge your energy, you recalibrate. Think about it that way and see that the people and all this living, the rivers, the water, the bird, the animals, that they hold that knowledge. And they are in Congo. And we, as local indigenous people from there, have this knowledge that can be shared to heal the world. And when we talk about Basanda, we're talking about this knowledge. And of course, the knowledge, it is for free. We want to share it with the world.
I think kind of just knows what we were talking about, but I feel like this is sort of teased in the film. How does the community live, indigenous people, how do they relate to these men and working with these men, right? We've heard a bit about them, and the ancestors gave us this to work with, that we were to work with. And yeah, I was very curious about that, because it's clearly not an acceptance of we were, in a way that a colonialist was trying to capture. It's like, yes, you were made to dig this mineral, but ultimately this belongs to them and should be managed by them. How, what is their perspective? As you understand it.
Thank you very much for that. It's not long ago, one of the thousand politicians, I think it was before, who went on the video went viral, because he was saying that you guys are talking about these Congolese and those minerals. When we were there, those Congolese know nothing about those minerals. We're the one who brought them even up for them to understand the value of those minerals, which was so interesting, given that I was born in a family of storytellers, which runs on through. I'm the first man to be the one who takes over that. In my mother, Colton is referred to as Katasumbika, and that's the title of the film, Katasumbika, which literally means unbreakable, unthinkable. Because that was referred to, for you to have access to that, you need to do rituals to the ancestors so that they can give you access. You didn't even need to dig. You will do the rituals, the offering, and then you will be sent to a specific place where you can harvest it for the use. That's why they are called Katasumbika, unthinkable. And yeah, so with that, that is one part. And the way they were being, circulating within the community fabric, where Katasumbika was mostly used as a medicine when you have any mental illness. And they were so valuable, so how do we place them on two sides of the head and they help to work with the mind. And of course, all that knowledge was disappeared because of so many years. Colonization came with a different goal, came with a different understanding of spirituality, right? In Katanga, if you go there, cobalt, as they refer to as a mikuba, which is the second part of the Katasumbika film, is coming out. So, mikuba. And mikuba, one of mikuba has the same approach, but in Katanga it was much more, there were people were collaborating with the stones as a currency. Because out of that, the ones of Mikuba people were capable of transforming, that's how we understood, the alchemists who had the wisdom of transforming soil into iron. And then once they make the iron becomes a currency. So if you wanted to get married, or you wanted to find something from your neighbor, you will use or work with those liquids. And so there is so many values and understanding that are local people, and they are pure. It only comes from parents who still have that knowledge, and even revealing that knowledge is dangerous, as you see. The people who had that knowledge, when they short, they were killed. And literally anybody who is being initiated has to be baptized. You cannot survive it, you cannot show. People become Catholics, they become Protestant, they become all these new things where what you have to obey is to say that is devilish or so forth, so on. Like a way of defining yourself from ancestral knowledge is a big trouble. It's a big trouble. Somebody else.
Thank you, thank you for the comment. I was to ask you, what are the concrete grassroots things that you talk about? What are the one culture that they support those? Now you see the organizations out here the time out here that are actually doing it.
Thank you very much. Well, one thing which is clear, it is wealth sovereignty that we want. We want to be able to control whatever is referred to as wealth. And then we need to have a say in how that so-called wealth is being, I'm going to use the word extracted, ripped off from the land. Because, there is method, there is approaches that can be done in a way that we don't have to work against others, right? What we could expect from the folks around the world to help is to become the voice from their community of the awareness about what is happening in Congo. And that is really to stay in touch directly with the communities that are organizing. And this, when we're talking about community, that word is not innocent. It has been used any way it wants. But there are organizations, are people who have already proven their attachment to their community. And I mean, they're being the vast, the improvement of the community because of how much they put in the community. They're not trying to amplify the system just from a point of view that you would think they're doing the local work, yet it's not what they're doing. So it is really to do the work, to do the homework of supporting the people who are really making change from the grassroots. And most of these people, they don't have beautiful websites. They don't have presence on they don't have presence on Instagram. They don't have like all these things. I think that they're happening. They don't have that. Most of the time, I want to send something on their Instagram page. Big organization that they know they're doing amazing work with women. Since even before we start talking about Nobel Prize about women in country, about the cause of women. Big organization. You go to their Instagram, they had 100 followers. They are not there because they are working. They don't have time to come and sit on the computer and posting things. So those kind of organizations, finding the grassroots organization and collaborate with them directly. We have a lot of activities that we are offering. So when he's talking about Basanja is constituted of organizations that covers now more than 10% of the territories, territories of Congo. And here we are talking about million people. And here we have organizations that have been organizing for over 20 years already in Congo. So, yes, the people, it's a coalition. So all the organizations that GOVA, Yole Africa, you have the Lomata organization and other people in other different countries. All of these people, they have been already organizing for decades. The community knows their activities. And with that, the strategy has been, in the eastern Congo, we are facing the land dispossession, where people like Mbuti, who are part of the coalition, Mbuti are so-called pygmies, they have been kicked out of their land. Because of what? Again, the West wanted to be happy. Because of national parks. People who wanted to see the gorillas. Gorillas are cousins in the cosmology of Mbuti. They're cousins of Mbuti. But today they kick them out of that space. Yet they are the best protector of the gorillas. If you come in, how will you behave in front of your cousin? You protect your cousin, right? So they have been kicked out of the forest because the West needs to visit those gorillas. And now they are facing a problem where they don't have land anymore. And in their culture, what is funny is that they say, we belong to the land, so nobody can not live without the land that they belong to. But now they're the ones who don't have the land. So just keep them out. So that is the problem we're dealing with in the East and East Westland. And then if you go to Katanga, that will be what is it? South. South. That's it. Then in Katanga there, we are dealing with mining and having children in the mines and women, all this. Yeah. There we have a member who's focused on that, right? And then you go to Sangani, where you find here. That's where the rainforest is, and that's where we are addressing also directly issues around the Congo forest and also. So the involvement, once you get into Basanja, you can really cover part of the Central Africa space, and at the same time, the Congo itself, where you are talking to people with experience, and we've been engaging the community already for more than a decade, so they know what they are doing, and Especially, they are bringing up on the table new knowledge that can really help the world to live.
That's very important. There's always there at the community level. It's true. Let me tell you that now I'm in DC. Maybe from the stairs, and I have my bone broken. Please don't send me even to the best clinic in DC. Just put me in the plane, I cross the ocean, reach Congo, and call me after 14 days if I have a broken bone. That knowledge exists at the community level. They have process and other things. After 2 weeks, I'm from me, and they will tell you I'm okay. Because I will waste much time, I will lose much time going to the clinic. So it's very important to really, to take that knowledge because it's useful and there is a lot of things we can do to change things, not only at the global level, even at international level, at the global level. Taking knowledge from the university, from people, from local community, and we're going to somehow make something good. Yeah, and it's possible. It's very important to pass that relying on traditional local knowledge to change anything. I hope this is good.
This goes to me that without good information, you're not going to bring about change. When we look at the civil rights movement here in the United States, when basically the struggle was in the South, and information about the industry was controlled by large corporations, we've been up here in the there wasn't much change. But when the people from the South came north and started sharing their stories with people in the North and invited them to come down to the South and see for themselves, that's when the news media started following them, and people began to see the crimes that were committed against the African American community. I want to first say that I want to thank Sankofa for having this event tonight, because I feel it's important that community organizations like Sankofa play an important role in helping the community to learn more about things that they need to know about. That is not going to be told over the 6 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news or any of the major communication media here in this country until a critical mass of people in this country become aware of it and then demand those media to talk about it. I know when I look back at the time of apartheid, when people were going out talking about apartheid in the early 70s, most people knew nothing about it, and so you saw no demonstrations with the South African industry or whatever. But when the children began to complain about being forced to learn only Afrikaans in South Africa, and they went out in the streets, and then the military and police came out and shot down about 1,000 children, then everybody began to become interested and wanted to know what was going on with apartheid. And it was interesting to go from a period where you couldn't get people to come to a demonstration to a period where you had people begging could they get arrested in front of the South African embassy. And that happened when people began to learn more about what was going on with apartheid. The same thing, I believe, has to happen with the Congo. We all must feel a need to learn as much as we can about what's happening inside the Congo and sharing that with our family members, with our classmates, with our neighbors and help people to understand why what is happening in the Congo is important to us here. And when that happens, we will build a movement for real change. And we'll stop the unnecessary killing and stop the unnecessary destroying of the ecological environment in Central Africa. And so I want to again thank Sankofa for this opportunity, giving the community an opportunity to learn more about the Congo. And yes, my name is Paul Humphrey, and I'm one of the co-founders of Friends of the Congo, so I'll put that in clear. But I think that it's important for all of us to go to Friends of the Congo website and send us your email so we can put you on our mailing list, email list, to learn more about what's happening in the Congo so you can share that information with your friends, with your classmates, with your neighbors. Because that's the only way this is going to change. It's when we really make an effort to find out more and spread the word. I thank you.
We want to close out this session of the evening. We want to give a round of applause. Round of applause. Hey, round of applause.
While we're here, I would like to say we do have an event called Gaza it's a bi-weekly event where we create an open space for artists in the DFA area to come and sing their songs of solidarity with the people of Palestine during this time. And Ireland has decided to expand that theme and go to Congo and Sudan and Haiti. So everybody that is here, please visit our website. It's the RUC that we just had yesterday. It's on Sunday from 6 p.m. So check out our social media and DC and our website is sankofa.com for more information. We do have a lot of other events coming up as well. We have Mary Veronika's 7th grade celebration, the first part of it this Sunday afternoon. It's going to be 2 o'clock to 5:30. It will be a panel discussion on also recollection, poetry reading, and also personal letters on reading and we had orienters, everyone is retrospective. Retrospective is going to start on Friday, and we're going to see most of them on Saturday, and end it with a discussion for filmmaker again, William, that is your headline again, and also the jazz musician, that's the one for one kind of getting movie film, and also highlights Sankofa Film will be performing that night as well. On Wednesday, we have author and journalist Nicole Pennick here to discuss his book, Injustice as a General Son, the topics of Palestine. I believe in a very journalist and transferring what he believes in and then issues within Israel is occupied. So we will have an event to look at that. And also, firstly, on the conference, we will be able to audience and the general. We do have a lot of events coming up, but I'm going to go read it. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we leave, I'm going to invite Hollywood to the stage to represent something. Thank you so much.
listening to everything. And I understand. But I also want to add one thing. One, we call this place Liberated Space. And I'm very sorry about the screening. Should have the sitting arrangement. Our people made a mistake because you guys should have been sitting dispersed so people could read the subtitles. They were not aware with the subtitles, so I apologize for that because I think those of us who are sitting in different places where we can see the subtitles. But I hope I think we can get and show it. It's open sitting where you don't cover everything. The better thing is my wife is working on good in the theater, so we'll have a better theater like white people. Where you can sit and with comfort and maybe we'll even have a science statement about it. I want to say two things with this permission to judge from Congo, but for me, I want to speak about Lumumba. For me, Lumumba and Malcolm X are, in my view, our hydrogen bombs. Their life, their uprightness is the most powerful weapon that we have for our black people all over the world. I would say that. Brazil, I'm not speaking without having been in places. I taught at Howard for 43 years. And for me, the iconic power of Lumumba is a window to unfulfilled people. We are people, not only do we fight white supremacy, white colonialism, criticism, colonialism, but we're fighting also people who like us who are agents of our destruction. And the fulfillment for that, Congo represents unfulfilled dreams. That's what I have. Otherwise, I have nothing in Congo. No bread, no nothing. Congo means for me unfulfilled. She will never make me forget at whatever level, wherever I am, she reminds me the unfulfilled dream of true independence. Do not be cheated by the sham elite African leaders. We don't got no guts. I was watching the Kenyan president the other day at the UN, and I was dreaming Lumumba walking and snatching the microphone and speaking. What has to be said? Because that's what he did in Congo. He took the king of Belgium, snatched the microphone from him, and shot him in front of me. And therefore, he did quench me. But then he remains to be the window of my unfulfilled dream. And I want to say a little bit about black people in America because I've lived here over 50 years. If you came to my house, the first picture you would see the vivid picture of Malcolm X or Lumumba. I raised 6 kids, my wife and me. Who, we partnered together. I was just this week co-produced the movie, Santo Hall, houses, demonstration movies we made. We collaborated. And so, for me, my kids were raised watching not a cereal box, but now these crazy black people in the box. They're jumping up and down as if they're building pyramids. But selling for capitalism Cheerios. My kids watched Malcolm and Lumumba from day one they were born, in every room they went. And I'm proud my kids are stable. Because my wife and me controlled our environment, the pictures that we feel are very, very good. Sometimes when we came to Harlem, Reagan didn't want to see him in the White House, but the kids didn't care. Sankara said, my White House is Harlem. I came to Harlem. And you cannot believe how black people felt that day. So I want to say to you, my brother, I'm making a film now about 10 hours ago. We started in Ethiopia, for those of you who don't know. The Second World War, according to my father, began in Ethiopia when Mussolini invaded Ethiopia. And millions of Ethiopians perished with the poison gas. Nobody knows it, including Ethiopia, ourselves. Because we are victims of miseducation by our own people. And so, in that film, part of what you see is documented. Going behind the Catholic schools in Harlem to the things that happened. Fighting for the things that we didn't even know they were there. Because most Africans, we shipped them with collaboration into a company, shipped our people to the Americans, but we don't even learn much or know them. There's a misinformation about African Americans. For me, there's a madhouse of black Americans, crazy black people, but then there's fighting black people. Their history of resistance is what makes me drunk. And I'm making another film called The Maroons of the United States. It's going to be about 20 hours. Because before I die, I'm going to leave this thing. And in that film, you will see Africans in America defying slave owners, armed struggle, which we don't see, happen in Florida, Oklahoma, Texas, and are in Mexico, the descendants. I went and filmed them, they don't speak even English. They pray spiritualism in English, but speak Spanish. Those are African people who run away from America resisting. So for me, Black America's contribution to Africa is their historic resistance from day one. The most attractive. So I'm not crazy about, the Jay-Z kind of America. There are black people who are, I see in Chicago, Minnesota, Seattle, California, Oakland. Black people, ordinary, regular, poor black people that have Lumumba in their heart. Because he's the window of our ancestors. We said that we love the brother who came earlier here to America, came colonized, and it's African Americans who decolonized. And I came from Ethiopia, my father was part Italian, but I came colonized by Americans and the British and whatever. And so I want to share to you two that the pockets of black people, you see them in my film, marching, singing about Ethiopia in 1935. And not us knowing they were fighting for us. It's the story of black people. Resistance-wise, there are people who Congo is dear to in Brazil, Bahia. I was there. I've seen pictures. The Lumumba hounds you everywhere. At the UN, when they were discussing the Congo question, black people went in as a guest and disrupted the whole United Nations. Look at the films, find them, Google them, you can see them. So for me, we have to know our base, the pockets we have in America, the genuine, regular, ordinary black people. They don't have television, they don't have newspaper, they're not the bougie black people we see every day waving many crazy things that we don't even know why. But that's not the America I know. The black America I know is fundamentally regular, church-going individuals, regular community people whose heart is genuine for Africa. When Africa even didn't reciprocate to them. When the LA riot, the so-called riot happened, and it was a rebellion. This is the what's his name, Rodney, whatever. Rodney King. Yeah, that's how it's known. The Korean government demanded for the casualty of Koreans in that episode. No African country said anything about black people who died and got killed and etc. That's my shame. And I didn't expect nothing from them, but I'm just trying to say to us, let's separate. To me, black people who resisted slavery, resisted for Africa. They say, no, I'm not a slave, I'm African, I'm a human being. No. And this is a real fighting I'm talking about, not just marching. I'm talking about real fighting, armed struggle. Go look at the history here. We have some books here on the Black Seminoles in Florida fought the longest American war in history, longest than Vietnam. We don't know because even Howard doesn't teach it. And that's why I'm trying to make a movie on it. The longest war. They just signed recently the finishing of the war was not even tied. It was the longest war Africans waged in America with Native Americans united with those progressive natives, not reactionary slave-owning Indians, but I'm talking about progressive Native Americans who fought along enslaved Africans and made history. And this is peppered from South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, go down to Florida, up again, through Mississippi, Alabama, through the Trails of Tears, whatever, the African side is not told. There's even black professors who teach Trails of Tears without African students. So now we know, we filmed people, descendants who went through those journeys to Arkansas, Oklahoma, and then Texas and Mexico. In Nacimiento, Mexico, African descendants. We just filmed recently the Afro-Mexican Descendants Conference taking place at a symbolic place where African Americans arrived and fought in the Mexican Revolution. In the Mexican Revolution of the Zapata and Pancho Villa, the most demanded fighters were Africans who escaped from America, and those pirates who came from the Gulf of Mexico. So I just want to speak today a little bit about, this is the airport you have, my brother. If you bless this place, if you did, the pouring libation touched me so hard. If you did that, black people in America gave me. My wife and me made a film outside the system. Black people lined up made it history. Ordinary black people. I'm not talking about Oprah, Gopra, Kopra. I'm talking about ordinary black people. Marched every day to the theater, gathered people to go bus. The black woman in Baltimore was busing people every night to show them the film. These are the black people I know. I felt I should say that today because I want people to know Lumumba in the heart of black people. Look at some of their children. At Howard, when I'm looking at names of my students, there's not a semester I didn't see a Lumumba come in my class. Not a single semester. And so some people, to me, are special because they speak to this hunger we have. For me, I told you today, Malcolm and Lumumba helped me raise my kids, my girls and my boys. If you go, the best book selling, we hope it will be more, is Leopold's Ghost. The biggest selling. It's in my selection. The biggest selling books. Lumumba's biography comes from London. It's very hard to get, sells the biggest here, biography-wise. Why? I know. Because I've seen it in Louisiana, I've seen it in Atlanta, I've seen it in South Carolina, Sumter, South Carolina, walk into people's place to eat breakfast, and Lumumba is there. I walked into Louisiana, a student of mine, texts me in her grandparents' home, Lumumba is sitting there waiting for me. and you don't play with that with me, folks. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much for working out. And I would like to show you a film again without blocking, just spacing out people. I know how to do it a little bit. I have experience of basement screening films. So I would like to show you a film again. Next time you come, we'll have to really find you earlier. And I try to wait for you to see you, but then a meeting, because I'm editing and finishing a film now. I was in the atrium when you came in, otherwise I would have welcomed you. I'm blessed, you blessed us with your support. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, everybody, for coming.